By now, we all know what it is. If you're not living under a rock, then you know what Jordan Brand's been doing this year and what they plan to do for the rest of the year. They're limiting a lot of these shoes, especially the OGs and a lot of other coveted shoes that we all want and a lot of us need in our collection. But we also know that they're on their old shenanigans again. They're on their BS and they're creating the hype. They're creating the resale and they're creating the FOMO. But me personally, I'm going to tell you what, this year I refuse to pay a bunch of resale for a lot of these shoes that we've seen over and over again. And I would highly encourage you guys not to do it either. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to hit you with this, the greatest and dopest intro you ever seen in your life, that we're going to come back and I'm going to put you up on game. What up, YouTube? OG Trap Jordan back with another one, and today I want to tell you why I'm not planning on paying too much resale, even though this is going to be one of the greatest years ever. I do not care. There's a whole lot of Air Jordans that are coming out this year, a lot of retros that I plan on getting my hands on. If I can't, then I'm just going to pass. I don't even care. I refuse to pay $500 or $600, even $300 or $400 on a pair of shoes that, first of all, I've already owned, and second of all, there's a lot of gatekeeping going on and I don't appreciate it. And one thing that's really bothering me on top of all this, it's not even necessarily the resellers. One thing that really got me mad recently is the gatekeeping that's going on. And when I say the gatekeeping that's going on, I'm talking about these little B words that work at these shoe stores. And when I say B words, I'm not just talking about females, because dudes can be B words too. But I'm talking about these young people that work at like Champs, Foot Locker, and all these other shoe stores that come in there and they probably are working their first job, probably didn't know nothing about sneakers, probably had no clue, probably went through the mall, put in like 15 applications, and then just happened to get hired at a Foot Locker or a Champs, and their friends put them on game and said, look at these shoes right here that are coming out, they're super limited, maybe we could backdoor these and we can get them off and make a little bit of extra money. And they go in there and they're working in there and they're turning us away, the real sneakerheads. They're hooking their cousins up, their boyfriends up, their girlfriends up, whatever. And sneakerheads like us that have been around for a long time, we got to turn around, we got to pay resale. And I know it's a factor with the resellers themselves too, because they encourage that because they got the plugs. And it sounds like I'm hating, but the fact is that I've had a lot of these shoes and I'm not going to turn around and pay $500 for a shoe that I've already had in my collection or that I've wanted for a long time. I've been in this game for a long time, and as a consumer of Nike and Jordan Brand, I feel like I and us and we deserve a lot better than that. Now, there are a lot of shoes on my list this year, just like I know there's a lot of shoes on your guys' list that I really want to get, and they're almost mandatory. But like I said, I'm not going to pay that crazy resale, and I'm not going to go cash out a bunch of resellers to get my pairs. Now, some of the shoes that I really want to get, I might pay a little bit of resale, but the fact is it's probably not going to be a little bit of resale. It's probably going to be really high, as we've seen from a couple of the releases already. But there's some on my list that I've already had that I didn't even want to get. Like, for example, these right here, these grapes. I wasn't even gonna get these. I was actually gonna pass on these, and I was gonna go ahead and I was gonna get these fire reds. But you know what happened? Somewhere along the line, I don't know how this happened, maybe you guys could tell me, but this happened to these recently, and I noticed this after I had wore them and done a couple of videos. I don't know if this is just natural, if they got old and then they started to crumble, or if this is vandalism, because I've had a lot of kids, I've talked about this in my videos before, in and out of here, in and out of this room, so it's possible that some little badass kid could have did this. But the fact is, I gotta get this one because I'm a real sneakerhead and the Grape 5 is a classic and I gotta have this in my collection. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna get this, and hopefully I don't have to pay resale. I'm actually gonna skip on, not this one, I'm gonna skip on these because you know what? I got these and these are in great condition, and even though they got that Jumpman on the back, I don't care if it has Nike at this point. If I know that's the OG and that's how they originally came out, but you know what? Those are the games that Jordan Brand's been playing with us for years. It's like, oh yeah, we had these before, but now they're more true to the OG. I don't care anymore, because you know what? When everybody's running around with these on and they got Nike Air on the back, I'm gonna bust out with these and they're gonna have the Jumpman on the back. And you know what? At some point, this Jumpman is gonna have just as much nostalgia to them second generation and third generation sneakerheads that grew up on this. I wouldn't be surprised if 10 years down the road they come out with these again with the Jumpman, just to create that, oh, you remember these? This is how they came out when we were young. This is how I want them. Maybe I want the Jumpman. But at this point, they're playing all these games this year. They're giving us all these retros. Like, they're giving us these, for example. We've had these already, obviously. You got the Nike Air on the back, but now what are they saying? Oh, the shape is right. So what are you saying? The shape is right. So basically, you've been selling us some BS for the longest, and we've been cashing out, and we've been loyal customers. So now you're going to give it to us exactly the right way, and we're supposed to get all nostalgic and get all hyped up, and then you're going to limit the pairs, and we're not going to be able to get them. So we're going to have to go out, and we're going to have to pay resale to get our pairs, just so you guys can keep the company relevant, keep Jordan Brand popping. But at whose expense? I'll tell you whose expense. Us, the real true sneakerheads that really have a love for this game. There's a lot of these shoes that I want that are coming out. Like, you got the Bugs Bunny 8s. A lot of people want the shattered backboard ones. That's a classic, and I know for a fact all these are going to be very limited. Those shattered backboards are going to be limited. Ferrari 14s are going to be limited. And we have, what do we got coming up here? We got these coming out this weekend. They said there's only 20,000. I don't know if that's true at this point, but 20,000 pairs. You know how hard it is going to be to get these? It's actually getting kind of dangerous out here. Look what happened with the metallic 5s. They turned around and they limited those, and then we had all this crazy stuff that happened in the malls, people fighting, people pow-powing, and all that stuff. What do you think is going to happen with these? These are a classic too. They're limiting these. They're creating that FOMO. They're creating that hype. They're creating that resale, and they're creating a problem. And it really is kind of disrespectful. I understand what they're doing, and I can't necessarily knock it, because I've been preaching this, and it does create that hype again when things were going down, because a lot of us, when we can get the shoes, we don't want them, but when we can't, we want them. But there's a whole bunch of shoes coming out this year that I refuse to pay $500 for. I'm not gonna do it. I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna shoot my shot, I'm gonna put in my apps, I'm gonna get on Sneakers app, I'm gonna go into the store the day after on leftover day, and I'm gonna get my disappointing L. And you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna turn around for the most part, and I'm gonna chalk it up. Now, there are a few pairs out there that I feel like are mandatory for me, like the shattered backboards, because I've never had those. The Bugs Bunny 8s, I've never had those. And then I gotta get these again because they got busted up. But for the most part, I'm not falling for the okie doke anymore. I'm not falling for the banana in the tailpipe.
You're not gonna fall for the banana in the tailpipe?
Where you guys are giving us the same shoe over and over again, but this time it's exactly like the OG. It should have been exactly like the OG the whole time. Otherwise, I feel like Jordan Brand should be running me some of my money back, because you've basically been selling me some false product that's not the real deal, and now you're telling me, hold up, shell out another $230 or $500 to a reseller if you want the real thing. No thanks, I'm good. I think I'll pass on that. And I'd encourage a lot of you guys out there to budget this year, because it's gonna get crazy. And if you do have mandatory cops, then go after those, but don't go crazy and get FOMO because of what Jordan Brand did this year. It is what it is. We're not going to be able to get all these shoes, but just be smart about it. Whatever ones you really want, put those on your list and get those, but don't pay resale on everything, because these shoes come and they go, and they'll come back around again, and we'll be able to get them at a later time. But for now, that's pretty much all I got to talk about today. You guys know what it is. If you like my content, please subscribe to the channel so you can get some more of this good stuff in your life. And I'm OG Trap Jordan, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.